Thank you so much for adding me into this group. I've definitely taken some thought into consideration of the three things that you have asked me to share. I do have some cool things I'd love to share with the group, as well as sharing my top 5 movies, because those are fun and, that's who I am. But I've decided to go with the defining moment story in my life. It is definitely not my most proudest experience, but I definitely want to get this out there. So when I was very little, I was in this school. It was a public elementary school where everybody and I were just kind of entering in. It was a young age of 5 years old. At the time, I didn't realize that I had hearing issues, and I often did not understand the tasks that were delegated to me. I remember getting upset and getting frustrated, and at that time in your life when you really don't know how to fully communicate your emotions, my way of dealing with things was punching my legs. I never was abusive to any of my classmates, but mind you, again, I was so young, and I'm going to keep stressing that I really didn't know how to deal with my emotions. And for a while, I didn't really understand why my teacher didn't let me get my answer, because I was asking her questions that I didn't understand. She got frustrated with me, and she hit me in front of the whole school, or at least my classroom, and in the eyes of a 5-year-old. That's like everybody. So after she hit me, she put me in the corner and told me I needed to stop talking. I didn't understand why I was getting punished. I wasn't threatening anybody. I had just had a moment of just punching my legs because I didn't have an answer. She then hit me again in front of everybody and put me in the hallway. She left me there to cry, asking me to not come back in the room until I learned my lesson. I didn't know what this lesson meant. I wanted to be back in the class with my friends. I was very embarrassed, cried a lot, shrieked in the hallway, and all the while my mom was coming into the building because it was her day as a parent to come in, and she heard the shrieking in the hallway. My eyes were filled up with tears, just like they are right now. Excuse me. And she saw me coming in. I saw her coming in, and she saw my eyes filled with tears and confusion. She pulled me out of the school. I never went back. My mom then put me into a private school, and while everyone was nice to me, I had very hard time socializing. I didn't understand why I was put away from the friends that I had made. It was a very difficult time understanding what my problem was, because according to the original teacher, I had a problem, not her. Well, I was well liked in my new classroom, and in my eyes, I didn't feel like I could make any friends. I felt socially awkward. I've had many surgeries in my life, learning that I actually had a very hard hearing issue after my brother had gotten some ear examinations done. So ever since this day took place, I often daydreamed that I was in a cartoon, like in Pete's Dragon or something like that, had a hard time coping with stress, and put myself in my room and pretended a lot because I just couldn't handle all the changes. I then learned that a few years later, as I got older, that I reminded that teacher of her daughter who passed away 3 weeks before she put me out in the hallway. So at this point, I realized it wasn't just me, but she was also having her own issues. So that's my story. Sorry, I got a little emotional. Even though I was 5 years old, and that was like 33 years ago, that was one of my first, hardest, and defining moments. I hope you all enjoyed my story.